another very special live show for you. Are we live, Cole? Does it say we're live? Why does this never happen on like the news?
Do you like that as a new open? Howdy, 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 and hello.
It's very 1930s.
Oh,
It makes sense. That's when you're from. That's when you went to college.
1930s.
Mid
Yes.
1930s.
Yes, Tommy. I had just graduated university, and it was the bee's knees.
Exactly. That's right.
Hey, so once a week we are trying to get you up to speed. You know, somebody already uses that, up to speed. We can't use that on the latest and greatest and most interesting truck news of the week. So we're calling these live videos the top 5 things you need to know in this week's automotive news. And we've got a good selection of stuff here, stuff you may not actually know, because we're going to the deep cut, the backside, shall I say, of, is that beyond your point of reference? Deep cut?
Is that back in like the 1920s? You'd crank up the gramophone? You know?
Yes, Tommy, and it was the bee's knees, like I say. No, this is stuff that maybe you haven't read or seen, but let's start with something that you certainly have read about, and we can discuss. And the idea in these videos is to have your input, but more importantly is to provide a little bit of perspective, because hopefully, you know, we're deep into the automotive world, so we can kind of speculate on at least number 5. So what is number 5, Tommy?
Yeah, so number 5, the Toyota Land Cruiser is coming back. So Toyota teased on Instagram a couple pictures of the Land Cruiser and said basically an icon is returning. Now, of course, the Land Cruiser left the States a couple years ago, fairly recently actually, in the 200 series.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's coming back, and we don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I think we have a good guess.
Yeah, so let's talk about what happened. So, you know, we of course had the various series up to the 200, and then Toyota said, no more Land Cruiser for you for some reason, and the rest of the world got the 300 series.
Right, but we do get the 300 series, but just in the Lexus form, as the Lexus LX, but we're getting an official return of the Land Cruiser, and I think it's going to be based on the new GX, or maybe in other parts of the world, the GX is based on the Land Cruiser. But essentially, Lexus has just surprised us with a brand new generation of the GX. It's very off-roady, very aggressive, very square-jawed. And that's what we think that the new Land Cruiser is going to be based off of.
Now, hold your horses there, youngster. Some people are saying it might be based on the Prado.
Which is a GX.
Well,
It's the same car.
well, hold on. Let's put some stuff in perspective, because this is supposed to be put in perspective, right? So obviously, the Tacoma, which we get here in America, North America, don't want to forget our Canadian friends. But where was I going with this? Why? I lost my train of thought. All right, here I got it. The Tacoma, which we get in North America, is very different from the Hilux,
Right.
and I know that because I sat in it. So, are you sure that the Prado is going to be the very same thing as the GX as the Land Cruiser?
Probably, because the current GX is also very similar to the Prado. So the Tacoma and the Hilux, you're right, share nothing in common. But historically, the Prado and the GX have been very close. Granted, the Lexus is more luxurious. The Lexus now, of course, is a much more street-oriented front end with all this plastic and chrome and bits. But yeah, they're very similarly related. So I think that's what we're going to see in the new Land Cruiser.
Now, here's my question. What will the new, and if there will be a new 4Runner, what will it be based on? Will it be based on what it has traditionally been based on, which is the Tacoma platform, or will it be based on what some people are speculating is the GX platform, or will there even be a new 4Runner? Maybe they'll get rid of it and replace it with the Land Cruiser. There's a lot of ifs there, Tommy.
I think it's probably going to be based on the Tacoma, if I had to take a guess, because I think the Land Cruiser is going to be based on the GX. And we're going to see some similarities there. Look, I mean, the Sequoia at this point is just a squared-off version of the Tundra. So I'm kind of thinking maybe the new 4Runner is just going to be a squared-off version of the Tacoma, much like we've seen in the original 4Runner. So excited to see what they're doing with that.
So let's talk about the timeline, right? First, let's talk about the Tacoma timeline. So we know that the new 2024 Tacoma is coming out at the end of this year. And if, you know, Toyota follows its usual trend, then the 2025 4Runner will be based on the 2024 Tacoma. Will the Land Cruiser be a 2024, and will it be based on the 2024 GX?
That's, I think, would be a good bet.
Or will the GX be based on the Land Cruiser? I mean, you know, this is all internal stuff that they're playing with. Let us know in the comments. We've got the comments going. What you guys think. I think even though we've seemed to have muddied the water more than clarified it, I think it's all great news. I love the Land Cruiser. You know, we had one for a while, and you know, the more off-road cars and trucks that Toyota puts out, the happier I am. I have a hard time choosing between the Land Cruiser and the GX because the GX was so darn. Did you see it? You were doing the D2D gumball. Did you see the GX? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think it's gorgeous. They really did a nice job. I don't know how they make it more Toyota because it's already very squared off and very aggressive. But I'm hoping maybe it's going to be a stripped down version, a little bit more affordable. We don't know pricing on the GX, but if I had to guess, I'd probably say 65 starting. And I'd probably guess Land Cruiser would start 55 grand. But if it were my bet, we're going to see the 3.5 twin turbo also make it into the Land Cruiser. We're going to see a lot of similar design elements, but maybe a little bit less options. So that's what I'm hoping for.
All right, well, we're doing this. Let's do some more speculating. So the GX came out with a new model designation called the Overtrail. Do you think that there will be a TRD Pro version of the Land Cruiser?
Of course.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean,
all
I
right.
think they're going to go Trail Hunter, TRD Pro, TRD Off-Road would be my bet. But there's a lot of stuff that we just don't know because we don't know anything.
Yeah.
But let's.
Will it have those side folding rear seats?
No, I highly doubt that.
All right, that's a trademark of the Land Cruiser
I mean-
since time immemorial.
It might, but I'd be very surprised.
All right, and just for all of you people who tow, the GX tows an astounding 8,000 pounds, and the engine is a Tundra engine. So it's got that V6 turbo. So I think that's all good, all bodes well for what the Land Cruiser will be. Hopefully you'll see it here when and if we actually get our hands, our dirty mitts on the actual Land Cruiser. But yeah, that's the most exciting news for me. But let's move on to number 4, Tommy.
Well, we've got some people saying that we're too quiet.
Uh-oh, we're too quiet.
You want to try pushing us up one level?
Yeah, thanks for letting us know. You know, these live videos are always a little bit, let us know if that's better. We just upped the audio a little bit. I could talk louder, but that never works.
So we've got a bunch of good questions.
Okay.
First question here is price on the Land Cruiser, or is it another car I can't afford? I have a feeling, like I said, it's going to start in the mid $50,000 range.
Yeah, so we were guessing that the GX was going to start, like they're going to try to keep that first number of 5, but more likely it'll be like 59-ish when it comes out, and then I'm betting that Overtrail is going to be more like 8-ish. In other words, $80,000. That's my guess. And the Land Cruiser was, I think the Heritage Edition was actually more than 80,000 on the last go-around.
Yeah, it was like 9,500.
95,000.
Yes, 95 to 100 grand when it was all done.
Yeah.
Especially with dealer markup. So that was an expensive vehicle. But look, the 200 series was a great truck, but it was a much larger vehicle than I think what we can expect with the new Land Cruiser. Or who knows?
Could we have a situation where the Land Cruiser is more expensive than the GX?
Well, why don't they just bring the 300 here? Maybe they're just going to bring the 300 series here. That would be the
Well,
simplest
I figure
thing.
if they had done that, they would have already done it.
Yeah, but maybe they were a little delayed with something, but that's another possibility. Maybe they're just going to bring the European abroad one here to the States.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's about as much speculation as I can take for one day.
So Herb says, any news about the Scout?
Yes, Tommy. What about the Scout? You have some news.
I have no news about the Scout.
Oh, Nathan won on the Scout. Oh, I can give you some news about the Scout. I'll give you some news, and this actually ties into number 1, which we'll get to at the end of the show. Scout officially hired one of the designers, interior designers from Stellantis.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's going to be a fantastic vehicle from like the basic renderings we've seen, you know, and the kind of the outline of the vehicle. It looks squared off. It looks true to the original international formula.
And the reason I said that is because, of course, Stellantis builds the Wrangler, so it might have a little bit of Wrangler, I don't know, inspiration, let's call it.
No?
Yeah, because they're hiring. And then the lead designer, a friend of ours, Mark Allen, unfortunately for me and you, because we really liked his work, just left Jeep. And I'm thinking, you know, he would be a good guy for you Volkswagen Group people to call and say, hey, we need some Jeep DNA or something off-roady in the new Scout. And of course, for you guys who aren't familiar, the Scout is a brand that Volkswagen is bringing back as an all-electric Wrangler fighter.
Oh, he meant the Toyota Stout, not the Scout. The Stout,
Stout.
which is supposed to be their small, compact Toyota.
Oh, the Stout.
The truck.
Oh, I don't believe that's coming.
Why not?
I think that Toyota should build it, but I think that they've got their hands full right now with everything that's coming. They're just in this incredible product cycle where there's one new Toyota after another, and you know that because we've been going to Toyota after Toyota after Toyota, and it just seems like that might be one too many vehicles. Yes, Toyota should definitely build, I don't know if I call it the Stout, but they should definitely build a compact truck, for sure.
Yeah, to compete with the Maverick.
Yes.
Exactly right.
Santa Cruz.
Let's see what other comments we have here. Any news on the price of the ZR2 Colorado Bison? I don't believe that's been announced, but
I have some news if you're interested.
okay.
Andre just got, he's just calling me right now. Hold on. Hey, Andre, you're on the live show, so just say hello to all the people out there.
Hey, Roman, and hello, the live show people.
Hey, why don't you tell them where you were at and what you're doing?
Hey, guys, this is Case and I. We're in an all-new 2023 Ford Super Duty dually F350, and we're hauling, you know what, from Michigan to Denver.
You're hauling coal? You're hauling logs? What are you hauling? Oh, you're hauling butt.
We're hauling ourselves.
Yeah, so how was it? I know we've got a video coming up tomorrow on All TFL with a walk around of this really cool work truck 350, an XL 350. That's kind of cool. That's off-roady.
Yes, it is a brand new trim that they introduced, and it has a kind of all new features for Super Duty, so that's pretty awesome.
So you guys are driving back dually. How's the road trip going so far?
It's pretty smooth, and we did a lot actually. So we did several different reviews that we'll publish over the next week or so. We actually did an off-road comparison between the new XL off-road Super Duty and a Tremor Super Duty Tremor. We also towed 40,000 pounds.
Holy cow!
With the new Super Duty.
Did you do it on a public road or was it a closed course?
No, this was inside the proving grounds.
You were dying to use your CDL, weren't you?
I know. I pulled out my license and nobody checked it. Nobody even gave me the time of day.
Oh shoot!
So,
You should have rammed the gates and gone off off the proving grounds and gone rogue.
Yeah, and we also have a podcast coming up with a few more details because they actually they have really cool gauges that they're introducing on the new truck as well. So different options for gauges and information about the latest engines. Talk to the engineers who built or designed the engines.
Well,
so that's pretty nice.
Go ahead.
Andre, the people want to know, does the 350 have cruise control?
So yes, the one we're driving is a limited edition. This is a 6-figure truck. This truck has cruise control, it has lane keep, it has adaptive cruise, and it has everything.
By the way, for all you guys out there, I'm holding this phone like it's a bib because it's near my mic, so that's why, so you can hear it. Anyway, Andre, I can't wait to drive that F350. I'm impressed you used the word smooth with an unladen single rear wheel Super Duty, so that's interesting. Anything you want to say? Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, that we say smooth to describe the trip, obviously. There's no driving impressions so far.
No driving impressions were shared in
the making of this live show.
Oh, you meant the
is going smooth.
The highway was smooth. The road is.
The highway is really smooth. Yeah, the highway is super smooth.
I'll say, when does the embargo lift? When can you actually, talk about it?
Next Wednesday.
All right, so guys, stay tuned for that, All TFL. Hey, I'll call you back as soon as we're done with this live show. Tommy, somebody just gave us the donation. You want to thank them? All right, see you guys. Good luck. Be safe, okay?
All right. See ya.
Okay, bye, guys.
Yeah, Bryant just gave us $10. A huge thank you to Bryant. That's very kind of you. Good evening to you as well. So very, very kind of you. We got a bunch of questions that are rolling in here. Do you think they will build a new 4Runner with the news of the Land Cruiser? Absolutely. I think that is almost certainly a case because it sells so many units. Andrew says, I would like to hear you guys talk about subscription services in vehicles. I live in New Jersey and there's a bill to ban any automaker from doing that. I always enjoy your videos.
Hate subscription services, don't like the bill. I think, the market should decide that, but you're right. Subscription services are the bane of our industry, and I think a pox on any automaker that decides that they need to make some money by making us pay for stupid things like, heated seats like BMW does in China, I believe.
We have a question about the Ram Rampage, which is the Maverick competitor. Thoughts? So Ram this week actually revealed a little itty bitty truck in Brazil, but that's not news actually. Ram has been selling little trucks in South America for a lot of years, but this one looks suspiciously close to one that we could get in the US because it has American flags in the taillights and it looks just like the full-size Rams, and I think that it probably will make its way stateside based on some of the Easter eggs. But it's a really cool little thing. It looks like someone took a 1500 and then stuck it in the dryer and it just shrank down.
Yeah, be smart because obviously I don't think that Ram is going to, or hasn't brought back the Dakota because they don't want to compete with their sister brand, Jeep and the Gladiator. So this would be an entirely new segment that wouldn't cause any cannibalization of sales, which is always something automakers worry about.
But yeah. Should we go on to number 4?
Yeah, go for it, dude.
We have a list of 16 cars and trucks where you'll spend the most at the pump.
So this is basically the thirstiest vehicles that you can buy. You want to go down the list, starting at number 16, and then we'll tell you how many MPG you'll get. And we've actually had, we had one of these, 2 of these, 3 of these. Go ahead.
What are you? Oh yeah, we have had some of them.
Yeah.
Charger SRT Hellcat, Red Eye, 15 MPG.
Yes, we had that. But you know what?
We did not have that.
We didn't have the Red Eye. We had the Hellcat.
We didn't have a Charger.
Oh, we had a Challenger.
So we did not have this at all.
All right. But wait, hold on. We had the engine. And this is a little misleading because that's 15 MPG, but me and you drove that on a road trip to California and we were getting 30 MPG just putting along at like 2,000 RPM on the highway doing 75.
Yeah, but combined, I think 15 is pretty on the money.
In the city, it does drink a lot of fuel.
Yep. The Rango SRT Hellcat comes in at 15.
Which is interesting because the Charger is certainly much more, well, I would think it's more aerodynamic. Yeah. It's much smaller.
Rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, and yet it's, the same MPG. Interesting.
We got the Bentley Flying Spur, 15. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan, 14.
At number 12, yep.
The Bentayga Speed, 14. And the Rolls-Royce Ghost, 14. And the Bentley Continental GT Speed, 14. And the Rolls-Royce Phantom is, guess what? 14.
How about number 8?
The Jeep Wrangler Rubicon.
Yeah, that's the one
Is it the 392?
It's the Hemi, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I was going to say. Yeah. That's also at 14, which is the same MPG as the Ferrari 812 GTS, which is 14. The Daytona, though, Ferrari SP3 gets 13.
All right, now we're down to number 5.
The Monza SP1 and SP2 is
Ferrari.
13. The Raptor R is 12.
Yeah, we own that, actually.
Yeah.
And what is number 3, Tommy?
The TRX, which is also 12.
Zach, America.
Yep.
Those 2 we've definitely owned.
Now this is one of your dream cars, the Mercedes G63 4x4 squared, coming in at 11.
Wow. I seem to really want and really covet very, shall we call them high horsepower rides.
Yeah, and the number 1 is the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 9 MPG.
Yeah, but nobody drives those, so it's not a real thing, right? I mean, I don't think anybody says like, honey, I'm going to grab the keys to the Chiron and go get ourselves a Starbucks, right? I think those things get traded, get invested in, and get auctioned, and the most mileage they ever see is driving to and off the auction floor.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. So Zach says the upside, there's an upside. We'll never be able to afford the vast majority of all the cars on the list except the American ones. And actually, I was thinking about that too. If you were to add up how much all these cars cost, new, you'd be at several $1 million.
Yeah, well,
probably more than that. The Chiron's like 3 now.
I mean, the interesting thing about this list.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about, I think it's more.
I don't know.
I think it's like 4.
It's rarefied air.
There's no, of course, HD trucks on this list.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, very interesting because, of course, the EPA doesn't rate HD trucks. because they're considered, beyond the weight limit of where they need to rate them for passenger vehicle. But I bet if they did, we'd see stuff like the 7.3 Godzilla Ford on there, the 6.6. Steve says, hey guys, 1998 K1500 is running great. Oh, that's great. I think that's the guy that bought our old Chevy.
Yeah. Hey, Steve. Good to see you again, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
That's great to hear. Yeah. We talk about the truck a lot, actually, because that is still the single best riding vehicle we've ever owned. That thing was such a comfy couch.
Tom, you came so close to buying it.
I did. I came super close to buying it from the company because I loved it that much. But glad to hear, Steve, that guy is still running strong from that No Pavement Needed series.
Did you ever use a winch?
No, that was the Suburban.
Oh,
this is the white truck.
The white truck had the winch.
No, the Suburban had the winch.
No, Andre had the white truck and he put the winch on it.
He did.
He put it on the front of it.
I put the fake winch on the Suburban. Yes. I thought that's what you meant.
Right.
Okay, BC Island says, do you think truck price will come down with interest rates going up? I do.
They're already coming down. If you look on a lot of dealerships' websites, you'll see discounts already. I've seen a discount. We're debating whether to buy, an F-150 with the Coyotes so we could use that Ford Supercharger kit. And I was looking at the F-150s and $4,000 discounts already on a bunch of websites.
Yeah.
So they're already coming down, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as we've seen, across the market, prices are finally falling on new cars.
But that's a problem. They're coming down from already a high price. So it's not like they're coming down from where they were, right? They're coming down from something that is now
way elevated.
Is way elevated, yeah.
The Car Edge folks are watching, and they know all about pricing. Check them out. Great to see you guys again. Thank you for joining our live show.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. But yeah, I'm finally now, even locally, starting to see some discounts on higher volume vehicles, specifically Silverados. And we've been following the new truck market, and it seems like Silverados across the board are seeing a lot of discounts compared to some of the other full-size trucks. So if you're in the market, 1500s, Silverado seems to be a good place to be. Diego says, that Mercedes has the same average MPG as my Jeep YJ. I did have a Jeep Wrangler YJ, and I am very well familiar about the...
I still think that's one of your favorite Jeeps, right?
Yeah, I loved it. It was fantastic. 4-liter. One of my buddies just sold one on Bring a Trailer, and he offered if I wanted to buy it because the number one seller actually backed out, which was a bummer for him. But they actually just got so expensive. That Jeep bid up to $16,000. And now I'm seeing like the Renegade versions, which nobody wanted when they were new, go for 25 grand. Yeah, but people are paying huge money for them.
So we bought, that was like your first Jeep, right? We bought your YJ for like $5,500.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and I think it had 100 and, how many miles do you remember? 130, 140, something like that? It was a Canadian Jeep.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. But we drove
Maybe it was kilometers.
We drove it around for, I drove it around for a few years and I loved it. Super reliable, not super comfy, but good in the snow and had a ton of fun off-road. And then we moved on to other Jeeps, but I would love that Jeep back actually. So if you were the high school principal watching this and you have my Jeep, give me a call. I'd love to.
You want the same color, that kind of green, forest green?
Yeah, so the Saharas had those cool little seat back pockets that they used in Jurassic Park. Yeah. Those are freaking cool.
All right, well, let's go a little bit electric, Tommy.
Okay, sure we can. Ford and GM will be able to access Tesla supercharger. Stellantis is thinking about it because they are converting to the NACS plug, which doesn't mean much but to a lot of folks. But what that means is they're using the Tesla standard now in their new vehicles starting in 2025, and then they're starting to use adapters earlier than that. And they're going as far, for example, Ford, to the point where you're going to be able to charge on a Tesla supercharger, which is really big news because, of course, the supercharger network is big and impressive and everyone loves it for the most part. And now you'll be able to charge your new Ford and eventually, hopefully, GM products on the Tesla supercharger network.
Okay, I've got a thought about that. And this is one of those thoughts that you're going to think is crazy, but I don't think so. So unlike gasoline cars, right, electric cars are half about the car and half about the charging experience. Would you agree?
Sure.
Right, because really it is all about charging the thing, right? And I think that both GM and Ford have made a grave mistake. I think it's great for buyers, right, to be able to charge on a much better charger because the Tesla chargers are just much more integrated, they're much easier to use, yada, yada, yada. But from a Ford and GM perspective, I think it's a horrible decision because what it's going to do is it's going to basically hand the car industry over the next 20 years to Tesla. Now, think about this, Tommy. Think about if every time you went to pick a Shell or a Conoco, it said Chevy on it, right? Wouldn't you at some point be like, you know what, why don't I just buy a Chevy? I kind of feel like they've been up a very major part of what they should be doing themselves, which is providing an integrated and complete solution and not outsourcing it to Tesla. Now, it's great for Tesla because their stock went through the roof when this was announced. But if I were Stellantis or maybe one of the Germans, I would definitely either, it's not too late, build out my own or buy one of the existing ones, that's building it out, or partner with a gas station and put in my own brand of chargers. Now, Mercedes kind of announced this. When was I? They announced it when Andre and I were at, I think it was at SEMA. Anyway, yeah, guys, it's all about the chargers. Don't drink Tesla's Kool-Aid because he's going to take you down.
Nobody's going to care. I mean, as long as you're getting the same charging experience as a Tesla, nobody pays attention to what the box says on it. People are going to pull in on their Ford Lightning and they're immediately going to start texting and not think at all about where they are, because if the Tesla supercharger works, that's what it's going to be like. And the fact of the matter is, guys, Tesla has 3 cars right now. The Cybertruck is forever coming. It's not like Tesla has every market segment covered. And there's a lot of people that don't like Tesla for various reasons. And if I can charge my upcoming Equinox EV or my upcoming version of whatever the Ford truck might be on a Tesla supercharger, more power to Tesla, more power to the manufacturer.
Let me keep going, okay? Recurring revenue, Tommy. Recurring revenue, right? At the end of the day, money is about business success. The more money you have, the more innovation you can bring. You can buy up your competitors. Right now what's happening is, Ford and GM sell a car, make a profit, that's great. What Elon does is he sells a car and then he makes money without a subscription by making money on everybody plugging in. Now he's going to be making money on GM and Ford owners as well. Plus, Tommy, I don't know how much information those superchargers derive when you plug in, but I bet you it's more than you think.
Yeah, but they're also making money on subscription. You have to pay for premium connectivity, and now they want you to pay for enhanced autopilot, and they also want to pay you to pay for full self-driving. Look, there's over 17,000 Tesla superchargers here in the US, and the fact that you'll be able to access them across Ford and GM is not, I think, not only a good thing for Tesla, but a good thing for Ford and GM, because you're not going to be fighting with the traditional CCS network.
I think it's a good thing for electric car buyers. I don't think it's a good thing in the long run for Ford and Tesla. I think if either one of those companies, Ford and GM, were to build out their own charging network, they would secure their future for the next 50 years. Now they're just giving up and giving that future to Mr. Musk.
What I would pitch to you is it's too late.
I don't think it's nowhere near too late.
Tesla's so far ahead, I'd say it's probably too late.
I just drove back from Florida in the Model 3. There were stretches of, you did the same thing. We'll talk about that later. There were stretches of 100 miles where there were no superchargers, Tommy.
Yeah, but
none, zero.
I was also driving through the middle of nowhere, Texas, passing 2 or 3 before getting to the next.
I bet you for every 1,000 gas stations, this is what the market needs.
I don't think it's that bad.
There's one fast charger. I completely disagree. I think for 1 to 1,000, we are way early in the start of this, and it's not too late. Partner with a gas station, buy one of the, EVgo or something, right?
But the issue is EVgo's just not very good.
Well, then make it better.
The other providers just aren't very good.
Volkswagen, rebrand Electrify America as VW or, whatever you want to, and don't let, Tesla steal your customers, because that's what's going to happen. Anyway, and we beat that dead horse. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'll read them. Am I correct or is Tommy wrong?
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we got some other questions coming on. Furco says, any insights into an electric Tacoma? And no. I know that it's been teased, right, in Toyota's big battery day kind of version that they talk about the future, but we have no insights because they won't tell us anything, and I still think it's a number of years out. Toyota is pretty far behind on the world of electrification. They got a lot of catch up to do.
There is very little word about a hybrid Toyota, let alone a pure EV.
Yes.
There's a mild hybrid, but not a full plug-in hybrid, Tommy. No plug in the Tacoma.
Yes, that's right.
Small battery.
Well, it's actually not a mild hybrid. It's a full hybrid.
Yeah, it's a 1.7. I think it's a 1.7 kilowatt hour battery.
Yeah, it's a full hybrid.
Yeah, but no plug-in hybrid.
No plug-in hybrid. No word on a full electric one yet. So some other things we got going on here. Will Toyota join GM and Ford with the Tesla Charger? I sure hope so. Just look at the plug. Tesla has this beautiful, seamless, streamlined plug, which other, by the way, non-Tesla chargers are
I agree.
adapting.
The plug is much better than CCS.
The CCS is this big, ugly thing that fights you and doesn't want to go in the port.
Are horribly heavy, and it looks like it wears out after a few uses. You're right, but I still think Toyota. You know what Toyota could do? Here's some real speculation. They could build out a hydrogen network. How about them?
The thing so they have this great hydrogen car, the Mirai.
Yeah.
But it really seems like they're starting to push their electric program.
You don't think that?
It feels like they're all the manufacturers, Hyundai too, feel like they're really trying to quiet down.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like if they had a hydrogen network?
Yeah, they'd have to build it out though, because no one's done it. The other thing about hydrogen networks is you've got really funny laws, antiquated laws you have to lobby out.
Yeah, but Tesla had antiquated laws about selling cars themselves, and they managed to get around it.
Yeah, but you could always drive an electric car over a bridge in certain parts of New England.
I know.
Whereas you can't drive a hydrogen car over a bridge or through a tunnel,
Yeah, but
which is a fundamental problem with the hydrogen model.
Yeah, you can change that. It's an outlier. Yeah.
All right, let's go to number 2,
more
news
comments?
of the week. Nope, we'll get to them in a second.
Okay.
Best choices available for under $25,000. Consumer Reports has a score that they rate affordable cars and all cars. And let's talk about the best choices, which they are now on their reliability lists.
Okay, the top 6. You want to read them down?
Yeah, the Nissan Kicks, 66 overall. By the way, the Kicks was in the new Fast and Furious movie. I don't know if anyone saw that. But
Hey, let's talk about that after this, would you?
Prominent role in the new Fast and Furious movie on the beach. The Toyota Corolla hatchback coming in at 68 overall. The Volkswagen Jetta, 72 overall. The Hyundai Elantra Hybrid, 72 overall. The Mazda 3, 74. And number 1,
It's pretty obvious.
the Corolla, 77 overall.
So these are all under 25,000. If you were to go under 20,000, I believe there will only be 2 cars on that list, Tommy.
What is that?
It's the Nissan Versa.
Okay.
And the Mitsubishi what is it called?
Diamante?
Yeah, those are the only 2 cars I think.
No, that's not
Not
the
Diamante. It's the what's the
The
Mitsubishi?
Mirage.
Mirage. Yeah, the Mitsubishi Mirage.
Diamante.
I'm really old. Do you remember the Diamante? It was like a
I do,
BMW 5 Series Spider, believe it or not.
Well, let's see.
Look it up if you haven't seen it. But hey, go ahead.
Let's see if there's any. Hyundai Venue, I think, is still under 20.
Okay.
Elantra.
All right, let's go under 18. Let's move the bar down.
You got the Mirage Sentra.
Yeah.
Mirage is under 18. And I think it's just the Mirage.
Yeah, Mirage
Oh,
is-
no, Kia Rio.
Rio, Mirage, Sentra.
Accent. Versa. Forte is 19. Oh, look at all these cheap cars you can still get. The Soul.
20.
Yeah, so there are still a few of them.
Nice. Well, there you go. Now you know. Hey, so me and you went to see Fast and Furious X.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, and it was hilariously bad.
Horrible.
It was just hilariously bad. And I don't want to do any spoilers, even though at this point it's been out long enough. But, there were moments in that movie that made no sense. And unlike, which I also saw this time on the plane, John Wick 4, right, where it made no sense, but you didn't care because it was all about the fighting. I kind of thought I'm trying to think back to like all the weird car chases, and there was nothing all that outstanding. Did you think there was anything outstanding? Any like car chases in Fast 10?
There were a couple good moments. I thought the first one where he was chasing the giant bomb through the city.
See, I thought that was completely ridiculous because that bomb was obviously computer
Spoilers,
generated.
spoilers. You
Oh,
don't
come
want
on.
to give it away.
I'm not giving away the ending. It's just a bomb rolling down. I thought that was just silly. So you like that part, huh?
Yeah, I thought there were some entertaining moments, but overall, not the greatest movie I've ever seen. Okay, we got some more questions coming through here.
Yeah.
Sure. Creating Space would say, would love to see you guys do more budget challenges. They're always a blast at budget cars.
Yeah,
They're still attainable.
we're actually filming one right now. We're filming our next Cheap Jeep series. So Tommy, Nathan, and Andre all bought a cheap Jeep, and we're halfway through filming that. So that's coming hopefully this summer.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, so we're working on that.
How about this? Thank you.
Yes, user 4915002. Ibrahim from Saudi Arabia, very excited about the GX Lexus. I want to trade my 200 Land Cruiser with it. Great. I think that's a cool choice. 200 Land Cruiser is a great vehicle, but the new GX looks phenomenal. I think Lexus really nailed it out of the park. They've been struggling a little bit with some of their design elements over the past few years, but I think that they've really nailed it with the GX.
Yeah, and thank you for your $50. What's SAR? Saudi Arabia. What currency?
Real.
Rial, thank you. That's our producer.
Cole.
Cole knocks out of the ballpark. Rial, thank you for that donation of Rial. How cool is that? We've never gotten Rial, Tommy.
That's very cool. Yeah, I really appreciate that.
How cool is that? Yeah, I bet you the currency looks pretty cool too. I bet you there's like
It's very colorful.
I bet you it's like Muslim, right? So there's no like animals or anything like that.
All right, let's keep
I'm
going.
guessing, right? I think that's a fair guess. Come on.
Let's keep going with
come on.
the-
He's afraid of religion. Good God. Just a currency.
Let's talk about number one, because we
right.
have some interesting news at Stellantis, which is we've got some big changes in the company. So, of course, Mark Allen, head of Jeep design, is gone. Tim Kuniskis, who was the head of Dodge, has taken over as head of Dodge and Ram. And then Mike Koval, who was the head of Ram, has been moved to Mopar.
Yeah, and that's interesting for a number of reasons. And let's start with number 3. First, Tim, who has come from and who's been around. He's one of the I don't want to call him an old timer, but an old hand at Stellantis, which used to be FCA, which used to be Sybaris, right? He's been there a long time, and he comes from the sales group. And you got to give the guy huge credit because he kept Dodge not only alive but profitable with basically a handful of cars, Tommy, and old cars at that, right? Because you guys know that both the Charger and the Challenger were derived from an old Mercedes E-Class when Mercedes owned part of the company. So Tim knows how to move metal, and I think that's a very important skill for Ram because let's face it, Tommy, we just did a video, or it's coming out tomorrow, I think, or this weekend, where we talk about vehicles longest on the lot. I'm kind of lost track. Go to all TFL, see if it's there.
It went up like yesterday.
Yeah, and many of those vehicles, unfortunately, are part of the Stellantis brand. So they need somebody who's got sales experience, who can move some of this product because, like I said, Ram has, not enough new product compared to Ford, GM, even Toyota, right? They're all new in the 1500 full-size truck category.
Yeah, but we have seen some spy shots of the new 1500 coming, so testing. So hopefully we're going to have some new excitement there. And then, Dodge now has the Hornet, which is a brand new model. And we have to wait and see what they do with their electrification, with, the Dodge Daytona SRT Banshee concept that they showed recently. So lots coming potentially.
So I've got some news on that, I think. And this is, once again, now we're moved from like fact to speculation, so just be aware of that. I don't think for all you Dodge fans, right? Because let's face it, if there's any brand that's going to have a hard time moving electric cars, it's Dodge, right? They've built their whole reputation on Hellcats and burnouts and pistons and the sound and fury of gasoline-powered vehicles. So I think that you're going to see a hurricane-powered Challenger that's going to be really their core selling vehicle before you see the Banshee and before you see anything electric. I think the electric car will be there because it has to be there, but I think that brand is still going to be definitely 1 foot, if not 2 feet, in internal combustion.
But do we think that that internal combustion is going to be a V8, or is it going to be like a smaller displacement?
The Hurricane, the twin turbo V6. That's what I think.
Is that a twin turbo? I think it's a single turbo.
Is it a single turbo? Yeah, I could be wrong. But yeah, the Hurricane for sure.
Yeah, but that kind of loses some of the appeal of it because so much about it is the sound and the roar of a 5.7 or 6.4 or 6.2.
I agree. I've been looking to buy a Mustang for our classic car channel. The 6 cylinders are worthless. Even the EcoBoost don't do well. Everybody wants the Coyote or the old, is it the 4.6 that was a V8? Yeah, you're right. It's going to be a tough sell. But if the choice is turbocharged V6 versus electric, I think a lot of Dodge fans will go with the gasoline-powered option.
Forged from Freedom, $5. Greetings from Ure on the Western Slope.
Hey, nice to meet you from
Here's
Ure.
some American Reals. That's very funny. Thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. And Fast Toyo, does this now mean the Ram Cummins Heavy Duty will get a transmission that is no longer 20 years old? Well, historically, the HD trucks progress the slowest in the lineup, right? And especially once they have a formula that seems to work, they really dislike changing it. So I think we're going to see a new 1500 before we see a new 25 or 3500. 2500 and 3500, I think, on Honor knows for sure, are still using the old cabs, the old basic cab design.
Hey, who was the guy from Ure?
Forged from Freedom.
Hey, Uri. Hey, Forge from Freedom. We want to go and run some trails, in Telluride and Uri. Is Imogene open yet, or Black Bear, or Engineer? Are any of those open, or are they still closed? Please let us know in the comments, because I want to take our Raptor R up there and have a little bit of fun with it. And, as you know, we've gotten just a ton of snow and now a ton of rain in Colorado. So I got this bad feeling that the mountains aren't going to open up for at least another few weeks.
Okay, we got some more comments coming in here.
Yep.
Isaac, Prius or Corolla Hybrid or Model 3? All great vehicles. The brand new Prius is fantastic, as is the new Corolla Hybrid. But the car that really spoke to me is last week I drove a base Model 3, like the cheapest one you can get. Starting price $40,000. Before the $7,500 tax credit, which it now applies for. So that brings it down, if your tax liability is big enough, of course, to like low 32s. And then you get a car with like 260 miles of range, 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds, with a standard glass roof, standard 15-inch screen, 5 heated seats, heated steering wheel, power trunk, front trunk, premium upholstery, wood on the inside. I mean, it's like low 30s. And then Tesla is now selling them at a discount, because I think we've got a new Model 3 refresh coming, which means you can pick them up for like $38,000 before the tax credit. That is such a good value on that car. So that would be my choice right now, the rear-wheel drive base Model 3.
Yeah, so they're dumping Tesla's getting rid of all the Model 3s. So here in Colorado, we now get 7.5 federal if you qualify, and 5,000 local. So that's what is at 12,500, Tommy. Plus, Tesla just announced, this is also in the news, that if you buy a Model 3, you also get 3 months of free supercharging, which I don't think is as valuable as people think it is, but hey, you get 3 months of free supercharging.
Rockin says, is Toyota going to ruin the reliability of the 4Runner like they did with the new Turbo Tacoma? Look, here's the thing about Toyota. They work so incredibly hard, spend so many thousands of hours perfecting the reliability. People hear the word turbo, and they think of like the 1980s turbos.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the Omni GLH and the Audi stuff, and it was just pretty crappy.
Dude, no, I always love when like nobody has actually driven a Tacoma, let alone put any miles on it, and he's already saying ruin the reliability. I gotta be honest here. That V6 and the automatic transmission, they were like bickering husband and housewife, right? They never got along. It wasn't a great combination. I remember driving the current Tacoma thinking to myself, I'm doing 75, and I look down, I'm doing 55, right? Those two engines and transmissions never paired well. I can't actually wait to get a Turbo 4 in the Tacoma. I think, like Tommy said, in the 80s you could have said that about a Turbo 4. Now everything's a Turbo 4.
Yeah, but what he's saying specifically Toyota, and Toyota's going to build the most reliable Turbo 4 in the world.
Well, okay, now how about the GR86, which has had its engine blow up? Is that because it's a Boxster and it's been developed by Subaru?
Engine. There you go. There's the problem.
So if I were to, I'd be like, hey, Subaru, not us, Subaru.
And that's just, once again, it's a really small percentage of cars that are being tracked on racetracks.
Right.
I really think that Turbo 4 is probably going to be pretty good. Even like the V6 twin turbo that's in the Tundra, people are like, it's a brand new engine, it's untested. That engine's been around for quite a number of years in like the Lexus LX, in the Lexus LC, right? So these are not new technology. Toyota's going to spend a ton of time making sure they're reliable. Some of the most reliable engines in the world are turbocharged when you think of like HD Cummins diesel applications.
If I were the king of the world, I would put that LC V8 into the Tacoma and call it done, but
That's a little much. Luke 01234. $5, thanks for the donation. I had jail-freed Honda in Montgomery, PA tell me new Civic Si has a mandatory $5,000 over MSRP because they don't get many of them. I walked out. That is the correct thing to do.
Thank you for doing that, Luke. If everybody were to do that, I think within a week, these dealer markups would be done.
Well, first of all, it's not mandatory by the manufacturer. It's mandatory because their GM said it was mandatory. That's just, in my opinion, it's just pure greed. $5,000 over is crazy on a Civic Si, not even a Type R. Mr. Guru Little says, what about buying a Pacer for TFL Classics episode? I've been trying for a bunch of years.
Yes, Tommy's been trying to buy a Pacer.
I can't find a good Pacer to save my life.
But you did find a good Eagle.
I found it okay, Eagle, but it's too expensive. But yeah, I'd love a Pacer or a Gremlin. Can't get them. Don, Megahan, when do you think the first HD will come out? 10 years?
No Javelin, Tommy?
Javelin, there was a cool Javelin in Wyoming this week, actually.
Okay,
It's a really cool car.
You know what he's jonesing for? You won't believe this. He's jonesing for. Why don't you tell him, Tommy, what you I don't want to spill the beans.
My 65 Mustang.
No, not that one. The other one.
Oh, my land yacht. Yes, I'm trying to get the early 70s to late 70s Cadillac. I really want to just float down the road. I'm sick of being all tossed around by modern cars. So if anyone out there has a good lead on an old Cadillac.
And you only need like 3 garages to park it.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
But they are certainly at the lowest they will ever be. We were looking at a 72 Coupe de Ville?
Yeah, 73 Eldorado. Guy wanted like $8,000. I don't have the space to put it in anywhere right now.
Good price though, gosh.
Yeah, it's a good price.
Yeah, houndstooth interior, love it.
Don Megahan, $2. So he said, oh, he meant to say HD electric, another $2. I think it's going to be a long time till we see a full electric HD. But what I think is going to happen is we're going to see an interesting combination of smaller displacement engines combined with hybrid technology to have a plug-in hybrid or a range extended hybrid, kind of like how a train works. I mean, my guess, if I were to take a stab at the dark, we're going to see Hurricane in a Ram 2500 with like a 75 kilowatt hour battery, and that Hurricane is going to act as a generator to power the electrical architecture to get you to the next charger.
Yeah, I would love to see that, but nobody's gone down that route except for the BMW i3, and that stopped production.
Well, the issue with plug-in hybrids is that all of you watching probably understand the basics of it, but if you look at the consumer data, your average person has no idea how a plug-in hybrid works. Heck, Toyota ran a survey, and something like 50% of people still think that the Prius is fully electric and requires no gas. Car's been on the market for 23 years, and people still don't understand how a standard hybrid works, let alone a plug-in, let alone a range extender. So I think it's very hard to educate the average consumer.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's still, we're still a long way before people. And the problem too is like with electric cars, like the Tesla fanboys and fangirls are so deep into it, they get all the language, they get everything, and then there's the rest of us that, you know, still have to catch up to that. And there's a big kind of chasm between the two. So the two are like two different tribes that now we're going to war. And of course you add politics to it and it just makes it an entire mess. Hey, before we wrap this up, let me ask you, Tommy, do you know what videos we're publishing over the next few days? I know that I just uploaded a video for Truck where Andre does a walk around of this really interesting, like I was saying, F350 XL work truck. So that's going to be on Truck tomorrow, so go to alltfl.com.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I've got, oh yes, I got a cool video. A viewer drove all the way from Illinois with a Forester Wilderness. So we ran it through the full slip test to see how the all-wheel drive system works on the Forester. We did some off-roading to see how that works.
What was that guy's name?
Dihan. He was super cool, really nice guy. Thank you for coming down from Illinois. He was on a camping trip and then took the day out to come.
And perhaps the biggest thing you did was you and Andre try to break mine and Nathan's record of cannonballing from Disneyland to Disney World, from Anaheim to Orlando. I want to get 4646 tattooed on my arms because this is 46 hours and 46 minutes. You took the Tesla Model 3 along with Cole there. Are you going to spill the beans on whether you broke the record or not? Or you want to give them a little bit of a preview because we want you guys to watch the video before we tell you whether they broke the cannonball record?
Well, I can tell you some interesting stats really quick.
Yeah, let's hear those.
Let me pull them up. So, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
We stopped 19 times to charge. I got it all on my phone here. We paid $277 for the 2,500 mile trip, and we spent a grand total of 402 minutes charging. That's about 6.5 hours. So it was quite a long trip, but Cole is excited and geared up to do the next one. Coming to you hopefully next week. We're getting back in the car because Cole has done 2 of them. He's ready for a 3rd. He is laughing because he is so unbelievably tired of charging electric cars.
You know, I was at the GX reveal, and my friend Nicole and Sam, who have a podcast called Wheel Bearings with their buddy Robbie, right? They want to try to break the record in Lucid, which I think could do it actually.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
So maybe you'll see a record and then a new record. Thank you. What did Forged in Freedom say?
So you asked a question about the trails in high country. He said not a lot open yet, especially over 10,000. Engineer just opened today and there's scattered snowpack. Highly recommend alternatives like Yankee Boy. Thank you, sir. That was very, very helpful. I really appreciate that.
We should head out there. The problem is, like I say, it's just so far from us. It's a 6-hour drive.
Yeah, we just got a lot going on around these parts, let alone to go 6 hours. But we have, oh no, the screen died. All
That's
right.
okay. No worries. We're almost done here.
Yep. Guys, let us know what you think, what you'd like to see on the channel. I'll keep looking for my AMC Pacer.
Channels.
I'll keep looking for the
You're not
AMC
going to mind the
Pacer.
Eldorado, huh?
No, it's too big.
$8,000. I mean, per pound. That is the best.
That's a lot of car per pound.
That's a lot of car per pound. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on the top 5 things you need to know in this week's automotive news. We're having fun here, and I hope you're having fun watching.